Hello everyone and welcome to Long's Toys. Have an Uchu Sentai Kyuranger review for you today, and it's a big one. This is the DX Orion Battler. It's the giant mecha that we usually get towards the end of the year with the Sentai series. There's always kind of one really big robot towards the end. Last year it was the Whale Zord or Whale Cube. The year before that it was Lion Ha-Oh, so we always kind of get one giant robot towards the end of the year, and this year it is the DX Orion Battler. Obviously, I can't even fit the box in the shot all at the same time, so I'm going to kind of scroll down here. You can see the bottom. Comes with two Q-Tama. You have a number 13 Golden Orion Q-Tama, and then the All Voyager Q-Tama, which has a SP for special. So this box is super massive, and the robot itself is pretty big as well. But it's a really nice, colorful box. I'm going to attempt to show you the various sides here, and I apologize ahead of time for the terrible. It's hard to fit this because it's barely fits in the review station. But you can see here, this is kind of the ultimate form, where it just kind of turns into a large bazooka, and the three bigger mecha just kind of stand behind it. We'll get there. Here's obviously Shishi Red Orion, however you let me say it. Taking a look at the sides of the box here. Really nice group shot here. I like this a lot. You have all 11. For some reason, Ho-Oh Soldier is missing there on the top. But you have the first 11 Kyurangers and all their mecha shown below. Pretty cool group shot there. On the other side, you have a shot of the ship, and then the deploying feature, which of course we'll take a look at, the robot mode, and then of course the altogether giant bazooka mode. Not the best combined mode for everybody, but what are you going to do? Down here on the bottom, it just kind of, again, shows you what this thing does all on its own. And like I said, I apologize for the terrible lighting, but it's so big it doesn't fit. We already saw that. The other thing that's cool is if you switch it around, on the other side the box lays down horizontally. And that's a really cool shot of just like the giant ship with all the other Voyagers in space around it. Shishi's down there chilling on the bottom. So that's a really cool group shot. I like that a lot. Very cool. So it's a neat box. It's definitely a massive box. Just for a fun size comparison, here is a like Ninja Turtle figure. So that's how it compares to it horizontally. Just imagine how big it is compared to it vertically. It's massive. It's a huge box. So yeah, that's going to be it for the packaging. Let's go ahead, pop this guy out, and take a closer look. So when you first take this guy out of the box, there is a small amount of assembly required. But real quick, this is technically the Orion Voyager. It's kind of a cool little ship. It reminds me of something, kind of, I guess maybe from Star Wars or something like that. It has the really long front, or maybe like a Transformer or something like that. I don't know what. But it's definitely reminds me of something. I just can't put my finger on it. As you can see here, here is the Orion Q-Tama. Comes connected. I guess I'll pop it off real quick so we can take a closer look. Number 13, fun holofoil sticker. Obviously the whole Q-Tama is gold. Pin system on the bottom. Has one single pin. And then you can see the Orion here, and then halfway filled in. And then if we shine light through the back, where's my light? There we go. You can see it's got Shishi Red Orion in the cockpit there. Pretty cool. I like how it has the Orion in the back above his head. So pretty cool. I like that a lot. The other Q-Tama that you get is the All Voyager. You can see how it's got Shishi in the middle, and then it's got symbols for all the rest around the outside, which I think is pretty cool. And then when you do it halfway, it's just the Shishi in the middle. And then it has the SP holofoil sticker. Pin system there on the bottom. And then when we shine the light through, you can see it looks like all the Voyagers speeding away from the Orion ship. So that's pretty cool. I think both Kyutamas that come included in this are pretty awesome. But I'm going to go ahead and connect this back to the side here. I'm probably doing this wrong because I like to do that. So there we go. Here it is. Nice paint there on the front. I really like that blue paint for the cockpit here. This is going to become an arm later. But to start off with it, they actually have you take this off, and I'll show you why in a moment. This little piece here is the thrusters. You can slide this out to reveal the flames. And that clips into place at the end, and then also clips into place at the back. Has the head. Take a close look at the head. I really like the paint. The metallic blue and the green and the yellow all look really good together. I like that a lot. Really nice paint on the face there. I like that. So to start assembling this thing, you're going to come around to the back, and you can see these clips here. There's a clip and then a little block. This has a clip and a little block. That's just to stop you from putting it on upside down, because with the little block there, it will not let you. So you just go ahead and clip this in here. Now mine doesn't make a real audible snap, but it does stick in there. And then this piece down here raises up to hide the face. So just a little cover there to hide the face. This big piece here obviously has 4 clips. And there's 4 clips here and here. So you just go ahead. Make sure that's lined up. It would help if I was putting it on the right way. I'm glad it doesn't let you put it on the wrong way, but it clips in very easily. If you had to take it off for some reason, you can easily take it off. And then this piece can move around, as you can see, all the way around. Slides in and out. That's how you attach the Kyutama, which we'll see in a moment. And then this has a real big square peg hole, and then that's for this peg right here. So this just comes and sits right on there. And there you go. That is the Orion Battler. You can take your Kyutama and put that in here, and it just kind of rests in there. So here you go. This is the Orion Battler ship. If you press this, this comes with a tab. I believe it is... It might actually be underneath this clip. I don't remember. But there's a plastic tab you have to pull out to activate the batteries. Let me remove this because it... Oh, I'm sorry. It's down here. You can see right here. This is the battery compartment. That's where the screwdriver obviously opens it up. That's where the tab was in that little slot. So when you pull that out, it comes on. It comes with batteries, which is nice. Always appreciate free batteries, because hey, why not? So if you press this down... Whoop, I'm skipping ahead. So there you go. Obviously, I played with this a little bit before I started the review. So Battle Orion ship, that's when you first pull out the tab, that's what it says when you first turn it on. So if you cycle through, basically how it works is, as you saw me do, hold the buttons down. It's kind of like with Shishi Red. When you hold it down, it cycles through the different modes. So when you're on the first mode, you can now press the button, just press it to cycle through some sounds. I love this music. It just ends on its own. Alright, so we cycled around. So there are about 4 or 5 sounds there, as you can hear, for the normal ship mode. Now, as you can see, it rolls fairly well. There are wheels on the bottom. on the big tread pieces down here. Kind of, I want to show you the wheels, but I don't want everything to fall off. But basically, they're here, 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 and here. So it does roll very nicely, as you can see. Pretty cool. And this thing is massive. Obviously, it doesn't fit in the frame all at the same time. And then how this gimmick works is you can turn this, and then you push it in. I probably have it on upside down. You can hear the click, and then you can pull this back. And now that's connected, and then this thing can deploy now that the Kyutama is connected. So then, hooray, this detaches and flies off. Or you can leave it on there. It's up to you. But technically, while it's connected, before you put the Kyutama on there, this is a blaster. Once you connect the Kyutama, it's a full Voyager. It takes off and fights on its own. So this is the kind of normal, Orion ship, Orion battler ship mode. Yeah, there's not a lot to it, but I think it's fun. I think this gimmick is cool. Obviously, we're going to get to all the deploying in a minute. But just out of the box, on its own, in the ship mode, this is what it does. You can also move this around. So you can connect here, you can rotate, connect in the back. So you could technically have 3 Voyagers in here at the same time, which I'll show you in a minute. But that's it for this mode as far as the sound effects go as well. If for some reason you ever wanted to, like say for example, you were on a different mode, and then you wanted to jump back to the beginning, there's a little white button here. If you just kind of use something to press that down, it goes back to the beginning. So it's like a reset button if you don't want to go all the way through. So, yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I like this a lot. It's fairly basic, but I kind of like it. This is kind of a basic gimmick, but I kind of like it as well. So, let's go ahead and check out some of the deployments with the other Voyagers. Alright, so as I said before, you can fit up to 3 at a time. And the cool thing about this is it does come with this neat little grid. And it shows you exactly what formation you have to put each of the Voyagers in so that they'll fit. And it tells you these 3 go in this one, these 3 go in this one, and these 3 go in this one. So if you want to just go ahead and try these 3, I'll take the Kyutama off as I put them in here. You just go ahead and sit these in. And then I'll do the wolf first. So they just rest in there like that. As you can see. And then how it works is you put the Kyutama in and it kind of deploys to each of these. So if we wanted to start over there, we would put in 10 bins Kyutama and then we would push it. It would connect. Come over here to Sasori. Sometimes it's a little finicky if they're not all the way in there. What am I doing wrong? Come on. Come on. Why is this not connecting? I might have it turned wrong. Do I have it turned wrong? I do. That's why it's not doing it. I had it as an arm preview, so you have to make sure this section's turned correctly. It will help you immensely. So now, there we go. Now that's connected. And then we'll put Okami Blue, connect, and there you go. And then these could jump off, and then they'd have to kind of transform the rest of the way. But they could deploy, take off, however you would like to describe it. So I will do the next couple. No, he goes in this one. He goes in this one. Now you do have to take the little bear out of Okami there, or Kogumi. I'm really blanking on my names now. Kogumi. You have to take the little bear. Ogumi is the big one, so you have to take the little bear out and kind of put him in his foot mode to get that to work. In the middle one, we'll put Washi Pink. Make sure I turn this right the first time now. I think that's nice. You can see how the wings fit right in there. It looks really nice. And then we'll do Oshi Black. He drops right on there. So we'll do from the back to the front. Boom. And there you go. So it's kind of a silly gimmick, but I kind of really like it. I don't know why. Just something satisfying about, you know, pushing it forward and having it really click into place. I don't know what it is, but you can see Chameleon fits in right there. Kajiki fits right there. And then last up we have Hibitsky. Now I will say these two, the two Tenbin and Hibitsky, you kind of have to put them in a weird little configuration to get them to fit in there, and you really should use this little chart because it is very, very helpful to use the chart to get those to fit into place correctly. So then we go ahead and pop the Kyutama in. Oop, I have this one wrong again. All the ones that I had as arms are incorrect. So there you go. Like I said, it's a stupid little gimmick, but I like it. It's fun. Now, of course, there are a ton of sound effects that go with this. So if we press this down, so basically, I call this scramble mode because it's how it deploys all of the different Voyagers. The first couple sound effects were for actually deploying the Orion Voyager. And then, of course, we went into Shishi Red, and it's going to do the rest in order, which I will do in a second. You can't really deploy Shishi Red the same way you do with the others, obviously, because it's just too big. It doesn't fit in the various things, and you certainly can't attach it with this item because it's in the middle. So it has sounds for it, but there isn't a way to actually deploy it, you know, the way I just showed you the others. So again, like Shishi Voyager, they have sounds for Ryu Voyager, even though you can't actually have him deploy the same way as the others. So as you heard there, it looped back around and did Orion again. So it does not have any sounds for Ho-Oh Soldier, which I guess makes sense, but I think it's funny that it does have sounds for Shishi Voyager and Ryu Voyager, even though those can't really deploy from this. So, but hey, I love as many sounds as they're willing to give us. I love that there's an individual phrase from each of the Kyurangers as their Voyager launches. I think that's really amazing. The next form, or the next mode, I guess we should say, is actually transforming this guy into the robot mode. Alright, so next up we have the transformation into the robot mode. If we hold this down,
Wake up, Orion!
it says Wake Up Orion, which is kind of the command to start the transformation into robot mode. I'm going to go ahead and take the Orion Voyager off, and I'm going to push this down. You kind of come around to the front, turn this around, and split the legs. And they just slide out to the side. Bring this up here. This folds back down. There's your head. If you would like, you can push these up. This arm will just telescope out. And then you'll take the Orion Voyager, bend it in half, and you can see how now it looks like a fist holding this giant mallet. And then this is just going to connect in here. And then I will try to move this back without collapsing the legs. Yeah, once again, he doesn't really fit in the station because he's super tall, but he's pretty close. Articulation-wise, you really just have the arms, as is pretty normal for Sentai robots. But it looks pretty cool. I think it's kind of funny how deep this sits in there, as you can see. I kind of wish it was a little bit closer to the front. I don't really know why they couldn't have done that. I guess just to make it, you know, line up the arm, line up with the shoulder. If it was too far out, it probably would have looked a little weird. But maybe they could have done something. But overall, I still think it looks pretty cool. I like this robot mode a lot. As I said previously, I love the paint job on the face. The same kind of metallic light bluish color that they used here, they used on the face, and that looks perfect, especially when paired with the gold and the green. Paint all here on the front looks fantastic. Obviously the legs don't move once you have them splayed apart just to show that it's a robot. And the arm, you know, the hand doesn't have any kind of articulation. It's just in the shoulders, as I already showed you. But it's a pretty cool robot mode. Now you can get a few more sounds out of this guy in this mode. Let me remember where the button is. So it kind of makes sound effects like as if it was transforming, which is pretty cool. And then it declares its name, Orion Battler. Oops. So it kind of just alternates between those two sounds after it transforms. So not the most sounds in this mode, but the last mode had so many sounds that I kind of understand why. But overall, I like the look of this. Obviously, it's not huge on articulation, but Sentai robots never really are. But I like the design. I like the color scheme, the paint applications. I also really like how just the simple act of bending this 90 degrees really does kind of make it look like an arm. I think they did a nice job with that. It really does look like a fist holding a weapon. But then in the Voyager mode, you don't really see the fist. So I feel like they did a pretty good job of hiding that. Yeah, it's an okay, robot mode. Obviously, on the back, it has this giant backpack kibble thing. If you really wanted, you could remove that. If you wanted in robot mode, you didn't want that on the back. But I think it kind of looks worse without it. Just my personal opinion. But that option is there if you'd like it. Unfortunately, because of the whole deploying thing, there's really no way not to have this all just hanging on the back. It is what it is. Not much you can do about it. But from the front, I think the robot mode looks pretty good. Alright, so I've transformed it back into the Orion ship mode to show you the last mode that it has, which is basically what they're calling the, all combined form. Spoiler alert, this thing does not have everything connect to it the same way you're hoping, at least the same way I was hoping. When you think back to something like the Shinkenger Ultimate Combination or like the D12 formation from Kyuranger, you had literally had every mecha from the series somehow connect and make a giant kerfluffle, and this is not, unfortunately, something along those lines, but it's still kind of neat. It has the return to the ship mode, and what it does is you rotate this 180 degrees. You take Washi Pink, transform it into the Hawk mode, and then you're going to just rest it up here, just like that. And I'll rotate this up a smidge. So that just kind of sits there like that. You're going to take, I believe on this side is Tenbin. You take Tenbin in robot mode and just kind of put his feet back like you were about to transform him into a leg, but stop there. And then he just kind of sits. You can see how there's these two like plastic channels, and you just kind of sit him there like that. He just rests there. You come around to this side as I spin this around, and you do the same thing with Hibitsky. You just kind of rest them on there. So that's how those three connect, and I use the term connect loosely because really they just rest. They just sit there. There's nothing clicking them into place. I mean, Washi Pink fits pretty snugly up there, and these guys don't really look like they're going anywhere. I mean, you can see this whole thing moves, and she's not really falling in any way. And these two guys aren't going to fall. I mean, if you picked it up and dropped it, obviously, but if you're just having it displayed. So that is how this thing goes down. Now, what they do on the show is they literally just have the other three mecha stand behind it, like they're all kind of putting their power into the blast, and then this thing fires like a giant bazooka out of these two ports down here, and obviously this thing on the front, and then it just shoots a giant, blast at the enemy and it explodes. Hooray. So if you press the button down again, giant blast. If you hit the button again, another big blast sound. Kind of fizzles out there towards the end, but I think that sounds kind of neat. So it just, alternates between those two giant explosion sounds, and that is the giant combined form of all the mecha for the giant kind of finishing attack. Obviously it's going to be tough because it's a lot to fit in the review station, but I will try to do a group shot with all the mecha behind it. So here it is. This is kind of all three mechas standing behind, and then obviously all the three that are connected to it, and then pan down here to the front where the giant laser beam would fire on the enemy. So it's a crazy lot of toys sitting next to each other, but it's just kind of a shame that they don't actually connect together. Alright, so we'll check out these two Kyutama in the Seiza Blaster. I'll start with number 13 for Orion.
Orion Kyutama. Sides change. Orion.
So I think it's fun that it says Orion. So I guess technically you could change with this Kyutama as well, as opposed to the Psycho Kyutama that Lucky usually uses.
Sides go. Orion boys.
So I love the sound effect there. Obviously this Orion Voyager that it's calling is just the small gold ship, not the entire giant battleship.
Sides attack.
I love that giant roar. I think that's so fun. So that's it for this one. Let's try the Special All Voyager Kyutama. Whoop, there we go.
Kyutama. Saturn Kyutama. Okami Kyutama. Tenbin Kyutama. Oushu Kyutama. Hebitsukai Kyutama. Chameleon Kyutama. Washi Kyutama. Kajiki Kyutama. Ryu Kyutama. Koguma Kyutama. Howo Kyutama. Orion Kyutama. Sides change.
So I think it's pretty neat there that it does list all 13 instead of just the first 11 like it does with the actual ship itself. So I think that's pretty cool. Technically, I guess the ship does do Orion as well. So the only one the ship leaves out is Ho-Oh, but Ho-Oh is included here. No transformation sound when you try to use it to size a change.
Sides go. Shishi boys. Satori boys. Okami boys. Tenbin boys. Oushi boys. Hebitsukai boys. Chameleon boys. Washi boys. Kajiki boys. Ryu boys. Kuma boys. Howo boys. Orion boys.
So there you go. It calls all 13 Voyagers. I love the way it says Voyager at the end of every one. So that's pretty cool. It does actually summon all 13 of the mecha, so you gotta love that.
Sides attack.
So I think that's pretty cool. When you do the attack, you get all 13 attack sounds as if you had done the attack for each of the individual Kyutama. So I think this is a pretty awesome Kyutama. I have to say, it's pretty neat to have all of them in one. If you didn't feel like carrying around the others, you could carry this one around. Although it wouldn't say their names when you do the size of change. The individual ones still do that. So very cool. Really like both of these Kyutama included. So once again, it's impossible to get this thing all in the shot all together. I really wanted to have the toy in the box and the shot together, but the box is just too massive. At the end of the day, I like this thing. I think it's fun. Yes, it's big. Yes, it's expensive. Does it do a whole lot? It's really up to you how you want to interpret it. I mean, if you say, hey, it's a giant robot that just stands there and has no articulation, you know, I could get a Transformer that has way more articulation than this. Yeah, that's true. This thing does have a ton of sounds going for it, though, and I will say that's probably its strength. It also has a really nice paint job, which I appreciate. Love the job they did on the head. I love the sculpt. I love the paint there. I think it looks fantastic. Just overall, I think it's fun. The vehicle mode is neat. The way you can attach all the different Kyutama, I think, is fun. It's kind of a dumb gimmick, but for some reason, I personally find it satisfying. Putting the Voyager in, loading up the Kyutama, and then sliding it in and hearing that snap when you said it correctly, which apparently I did it wrong a few times, but when you do have everything lined up correctly and it does snap right in there, it's fun. It's satisfying. I get it's kind of dumb, but I like it. I don't know why. So you have that gimmick going on, and you can deploy all 9 of the limb Kyutama in that fashion. Obviously, you can't deploy Shishi Voyager or U Voyager because they're just too big to kind of fit into that setup, so not really much you can do there. But you have that gimmick going on. You have a ton of sounds, especially in that scramble mode where you have it say that each Voyager is going to deploy. Then you have a phrase from each of the pilots, which I think is pretty cool. Each of the Kyurangers there are lending a phrase to this toy. Not a ton of sounds for the ship mode or the robot mode, and then there's only kind of 2 sounds for that ultimate attack. And it is a little disappointing that there isn't a way to actually cobble together all 13 of these mecha, but it would be hard to do because they're all fairly large, and I don't know how you do it. I mean, sure, if you could somehow do it, if they engineered a way for that to happen, that would have been great. But I still think it's fun. I always think it's kind of a bummer when the ultimate attack or the ultimate combination is just kind of stand most of the mecha next to each other, and that is unfortunately what we have here. But I still think you can enjoy it. I mean, yes, it's not as great as it could possibly be if you connected all 13 and made some giant, tall, massive thing. Sure, that would be preferable. But for what we get, I think it's okay. I think this toy's real strong suit are the 2 Kyutama it comes with. They're both really fun. The robot mode looks great. The vehicle mode is fine, but it also has a ton of sounds going for it. And I think really that's where most of its playability comes from. The robot mode, the vehicle mode, and all the sounds from the toy itself and the Kyutama. So I like it. It is a little bit on the hefty side when it comes to the price tag. I think if memory serves, it was somewhere in the area of 120, maybe not that much, somewhere between 100 and 120. But I think with HLJ's discounts, I think they have it up for maybe 85 to 95, somewhere in there. So if you're going to buy it, maybe check them out because they have it for a little bit cheaper. Yes, it's probably going to kill you on shipping a little bit because it is so massive. But if you buy other stuff from HLJ, you might not feel it as bad. Overall, I think it's a fun toy. Could it be better? Sure. But I think for what it is, it's fun. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I want to hear from you. Please let me know what you think down below. Please like and share this video and subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you guys have enjoyed this look at the DX Orion Battler from Uchu Sentai Kyuranger. And as always, thank you so much for watching.